Hey guys, welcome to another video. In this video I'm gonna just talk about Black Desert and some ideas that I have with the game while doing some easy rifts. So it's just gonna be a chill video here. So a lot of people might start playing this game, especially in the summer season. And what I really recommend for them is to have an overview of the game and try to understand the way the game works, because I see a lot of people coming and going and asking questions about the game, and those questions are really extremely basic. And a lot of people don't do their due diligence with a game. Like if you want to start playing a game, first try and gather some information on it. Like don't just come into the game and expect things to be the way you think, and if you don't like it, you're gonna be like, well, this is just a bad game, because you're missing like a lot of information about the game, a lot of ways this game works. And it's not like your average MMO, because most other MMOs out there copied the way that the big bad, which is toppling down right now, WoW used to do its system, its MMO, right? And like the basic idea of an MMO is like PvE, do your dungeons, do your group content, dailies, and that's it. I think that if WoW hadn't introduced Mythic Plus dungeons like 2 expansions ago or whenever that was, it would have been exactly like any other MMO out there. And a lot of the other ones that are out for a while, they just have that. They just have PvE, group dungeon, daily, and that's it. After you do your dailies, there's really nothing else for you to do. Like some MMOs allow you to like the progression is dungeons group, right? And after you're finished with your daily quota, they don't, like, some allow you to progress, but like super hard. Others don't allow you to progress at all, or if they do, it's like very minimal. Like, let me give you a simple example. Let's say you want some PvE armor that costs, I don't know, 500. Let's say a piece costs like what, 2000 currency, right? And that currency you do it from a daily dungeon, right? And that daily maybe rewards you with I don't know, 300, right? After you do that daily, if you repeat the dungeon, it might give you and the last boss, because usually only the last boss would give you anything after you do it the first time, right? Maybe you'll receive like 5-10 of the same currency. So the difference in the daily reward and just you repeating the dungeons over and over and it's so huge and so unsatisfying that nobody ever does it. So, this is like time gated progression. And honestly, I feel like time gated progression is the worst thing you can do in an MMO, right? It's so bad because people who like to spend a lot of time in a game have nothing else to do when it comes to gear progression. You don't. And if there is something to do, it's usually very minimal reward for a lot of effort and hours put into it, right? I'm not saying that you should like give people the maximum gear for like 1 month of play, but you can make it so that you get rewarded something, right? I don't think gear should be necessarily bound to a character, or if it is, make the weaker gear not bound on your character. Like you can farm with your main character gear for your alts. That's something that a lot of MMOs don't do. I'm saying this because I'm a very big MMO player, in the sense that I like MMOs. I'm out of water, and I played, I think, almost all MMOs on the market. I played Guild Wars 2, I played ESO, I played all of them. I played Aeon, Warhammer. These are, I don't think some people even heard of Warhammer, honestly, because it's a really old game that closed after a while, and right now there's like a private fan server with it that's running for some years, and it's nice because people kept the fun alive, you know. And when I look at a game, I look at the big picture. Like I look at the way they created it, at the way they progress in it, and all of them are basically following the same thing. There's nothing new. I think the only one that was different was ESO, because the gearing system is so unique in that game. That actually impressed me, because you can use base game gear at when you're like max level, and it's viable. You're probably gonna be able to complete like maybe 80-90% of the content in the game with gear that doesn't require you to get DLCs or expansions, and that is huge. That's basically letting a player experience the full game by like paying. Like you don't force someone to buy a DLC or anything just so they can play your content, you know. The reason I said in ESO, for example, that you can play 90% of the content is because in end game trials you might need specific sets so that you're not so that you can help your teammates, right? So like, because if you can't just be dead weight. I mean, maybe you can be like a DPS guy with like basic DPS gear. When I say basic, I mean the base game. But even then, you're a bit limited to. You're probably gonna do an acceptable DPS, but you're not gonna be min-maxed. And we're talking here about the hardest content in the game. You'll wanna be a little bit min-maxing. Like, I'm not saying you have to be like all out min-maxing, but having certain sets on you will improve your DPS. But so that's why ESO, I think it's really different. And it's unique in that regard. All other MMOs that I played, they all follow the same thing. So that's why I'm not really paying attention here to what I'm doing. Yeah, so they all we are full. They're all doing the same thing, and it's boring. It gets boring because a lot of people playing MMORPGs now are veterans. You know, it's very hard to keep us entertained in a game, even when you like the game a lot, or maybe the universe that's in it. If the game design is poor, you're not gonna be able to play it, man. I mean, I just can't. Like, I have to be entertained. I have to have fun while also doing something meaningful in the game. And if I don't have those two things, then something's wrong with the game from my point of view. But I know some people will have a different opinion about this, and that's fine. Everybody plays the game the way they want. But come on, most games, if you guys know, give me an example of a game that can I don't know, that feels the requirements like you don't necessarily need super endgame gear to be able to do endgame content. And let's take I'm really trying to not use WoW as an example, but let's take what I said earlier about being able to get some decent gear on maybe an alt character by using your main. You can't do that, right? Because it's bound, the loot that you get from a dungeon is bound on you. So I think that people should be able to get some, like a limit on the item level. Let's take WoW. Let's say in WoW you're like a Death Knight, but you also have maybe a Shaman as an alt. And you're playing your Death Knight a lot, and you're getting, even after you've done your dailies, you're doing mythics, right? Maybe you're like full geared, and there's nothing else to do for you except, you know, maybe try and improve your score. But what if you want gear, man? What if you want progression? If you're gonna go on your alt, you have to do all that shit all over again, and that's just not fun. They could make it a bit more acceptable if, for example, you would be able to give, let's say, mythic 8 or 9 item level gear that drops to your alts. So you would be able to loot, maybe there's like a setting where instead of making the end game boss loot be only for your class, you set it to be like for all classes, random, right? And you may have a chance to drop some gear for your alt. And they should limit this to like maybe mythic 8 or 9. Let's say it like that. You limit this to like mythic 8 9, but you can still like go and farm them for your alt, and then you can just gear your alt with decent gear, man. And you can just go from like mythic 8 9 10 above and work your way up from that level. But don't make me start the progression all over again on a different character, the same thing that I did on my main, because that's just crap, man. That's just locking me out of my choices of playing other classes, you know. Let me put my, and it's bad, and that's why people are very mad. I think in Guild Wars 2 they have a similar system. Imagine being a warrior and then you're moving to another class. I think you'll have to farm it all over again, right? I haven't played the other games in a while, but normally in a game the basic design for the game almost never changes. Even if they do some quality of life improvements, they will never change the base way they thought about the game working. But ESO did, and it brought them a lot of people, you know, in its time. Like when they released ESO, what was it, that update where they made the mob scale to your level, I forgot how it was called. That was huge, and that was what actually brought a shit ton of people back to the game, because you were able to just go into any zone you wanted and do the quests there without being killed by the mobs, right? Like the mobs would be scaled to your individual level. Even if you were with someone in your party, he would see the mobs on his level and you'd see the mobs on your level, right? And other games don't have that. I'm not saying that they need to do this in all games. No, that was just something interesting that ESO did, and it made life easier for players. But I don't know, let's take other games like even Aeon, Warhammer. They all have the same way of dealing with making gear. It's like, do your daily dungeon, and after you do the daily dungeon, guess what? You're not getting decent rewards of repeating the dungeon with your friends. So like, why would I do it? Like, what am I supposed to do after I do, I don't know, 3 hours of dailies, let's say? Yeah, let's take WoW. I think maybe if you do everything, if you do even the world quests, might take you 3 or 4 hours, do all your mythics, PvE side, right? I'm not talking about PvP, just PvE, for example, because I know a lot of people are PvEers, you know. I don't have a problem with that. I love PvP. I don't really like doing PvE in a game, but even like most games, you're gating PvP players in behind PvE, and that's especially true for WoW. But it happens in other games as well, because they are not capable of really separating PvP gear from PvE, and they're not capable of actually giving me satisfactory rewards for doing my dailies in PvP, or from just, let's say, just spam battlegrounds. I should be able to get a decent amount of currency, not like shit amount of currency, right? Like they can just calculate it so that, I don't know, the time it takes for you to do a piece of gear, like there should be a specific minimum and maximum time that it takes, right? Because if you lose your PvP match or PvE dungeon, like time run out or whatever, you get less currency, right? But if you win, you get more. That's fine. But the difference between winning and losing when it comes to currency, why is this guy always attacking me? The difference is so huge, it's not even funny. Like, you're almost getting less than half if you lose. It's shit, you know. I think I'm done. Who next? This one. So that's why I'm telling you a lot of wait, big mic. So let's talk about Black Desert, right? I know I have a lot of big picture knowledge on how video games are made, and this is just my opinion. You can disagree, that's fine. Maybe you like doing dailies and then doing dungeons without getting satisfactory rewards. I'm not really big on when it comes to titles and achievements and all that. So honestly, that part of the game doesn't really interest me. What interests me in a game is gear progression, because gear progression helps me have fun in the game. I want to go and PvP, I want to go and do the hardest content. That's what's fun for me, you know. If you like doing something else, like achievements, titles, that's fine, you know. But I'm just not that on that for that, you know. Not that I don't like it. Sometimes I may see a title on someone and I'll be like, you know, I want that too. But if it's too hard to get, I'm not gonna do it, you know. So let's talk about Black Desert Online and its gear progression. The main big picture you need in this game is you need to understand how the game is made, what options you have for gear progression, how much you can tap into one option without losing efficiency in the other, and so on. And this game is if right now let's say we're talking about gear progression and min-max, not really min-maxing, but the idea is that you need to focus your time on doing certain things in the game that helps you progress. Like, you need to see improvement, because it is very easy to get lost in this game. It's very easy to like stay 5 minutes and look at the ocean here. That's fine, but maybe do that after you've done your quote-unquote daily, I don't want to say chores, let's say tasks, because chores is like a system where it is like Torghast in WoW, where it's like a chore to do, and I think a lot of people agree with that. So let's look at video. What is this game made of? So let's start with the bad things about the game. Bad thing, main thing that a lot of people will probably complain about and not agree and not play the game for is not a lot of group content. It's lacking group content a lot in PvE, right? This is, in my opinion, this is a PvP focused game, or at least it was when it launched, because you have guild PvP fights and you get nodes from winning, and the reason you upgrade your gear is to be able to be strong enough in PvP to beat the other guy. And here in this game, your gear is, there's only one type of gear. There's no PvE or PvP gear. Gear works for both sides, and a lot of times gear can help you kill someone that maybe is more skilled than you but has less gear, right? So you have attack power. He's always attacking me. You have attack power, which is your damage, and defense power. I have awakening because you have two weapons, right? Defense power, DP. Those are your two main stats. There are other stats, but we're not going to talk about those right now because this is just a general overview that I want to do with a game. Like you have accuracy, you have evasion, you have DR, which is damage reduction, but those are like, how can I call them? They're not like directly on your sheet here. If you can see on the left, they're like like equipment effects, and DP is like evasion plus damage reduction values. It's so let's talk about the bad. Let's get back to bad things about the game. Not a lot of group content. There are certain zones where you can farm in a group, like Miromok, because it says recommended party free, right? See, 2 free member party recommended. So you'll need a party there. But for example, in this game you have no dungeons. They are adding a dungeon soon, next week I think. They're trying to do some sort of group content, but they did say at the last event that overall BDO is like a kind of a grind solo game, because people like they answered the question with, someone asked the question about whether they will make group content in the future, and they were like they're looking at those options, but overall the main focus of the game will not change, which means that you have places where you grind, and most of the places are gonna be solo grind, right? They did add some new quote-unquote new grind zones, you could say, where there was one of the monster zone where you needed like maybe two party members to grind, but that's it. Every other spot was like solo. And the reason I'm saying this is a PvP game is because people can come where you are grinding and they can try and take over. Now you do get punished. You can flag and try to kill the guy. So someone may come to your spot and they can flag up, which is mean like activate PvP, and they can kill you. But the problem is that on normal servers they get punished. They lose karma, and if they get negative karma, like their karma just goes down, and they have to kill mobs to recover it, and it's not easy to recover it. So if you don't flag up with him and he just attacks you, he loses karma. So what I mean by normal servers is, you see, where's the PvP? So there are like only one PvP server, right? R-Shop PvP. That's where if you do PvP, you do not lose karma there. But other than that server, on any other server, you lose karma. Servers are basically just different instances. So there's like one big mega server we're all on, Europe, and then you have these channels where they're like instances, like in any other MMORPGs. Or for us, they're called servers. So the bad things, no group content. I'm just rambling here, you know. So it's like whatever comes to my mind, I'm gonna talk about it. From my point of view, you may have a different one. It's fine. So bad things, no group content. Maybe like, I don't know if this is good or bad. Too much RNG maybe. They could maybe reward players for, I don't know, make it so that if you grind 5 hours, the game would be like, hey, you killed X amount of mobs. Like you killed them, not your party member. It'd be like after X amount of mobs, you will get a guaranteed drop of something, because some of the zones drop accessories that costs a lot of money, right? Like the most famous one is Star's End. So if you go here, they drop. So it's like 260 AP zone, but you'll need a bit more. These mobs have an accessory that costs 300 million on the market, right? It's called Distortion. So this earring, it's 339 right now. Wow, went up pretty fast. Okay, so if you drop this item, that's basically adding in your silver per hour that you make. Because most of the mobs that you kill, they give you something that's called trash loot, and you sell that directly to an NPC, and depending on the trash loot you did per hour, I say per hour because even if you farm 6 hours, you kind of want to like divide the trash that you did on 6 to see how much you did per hour, right? So you can calculate your money, basically. That's what you want to do, calculate your money. So most zones, most high-end zones, drop special accessories that are very hard, like they don't drop easy, right? It's like a, what, 1% chance of dropping, right? So depending on the zone you're grinding, you're making more or less money, also depending on whether or not you drop an accessory, right? And some people have so much luck that they might get, even, let's say they farm 3 hours, they get free distortion accessories. So other people go there, the same zone, they farm for 5 hours, they get no accessories or just one. So that's why I'm saying maybe reward the effort that the player puts in the game, and be like, you know, you killed X amount of mobs by yourself. They can easily calculate how much time it would take you to kill an X amount of time. So let's say after 5 hours of grinding, or 4 hours, you get one accessory, guaranteed. That would be better for the game overall, for the progression. Because there are even people who grind 8 hours there and get nothing. And that's why people are a bit mad when it comes to this game. Because they get, some people get RNG carried and some people don't. So that's a bit like, I understand that this is a Korean game. I understand that they like to do a lot of RNG, but adding this in the game as an idea, I don't think it would be a bad idea. So what are the more bad things about the game? I think if you like PvP, you're gonna need gear. Now, do you need a lot of gear? Depends. Depends on your class, because classes are, depending on the class you have, you can do more or less damage on different on lower AP, right? So all of the classes obviously do damage, and like if you have 301 AP or 305 AP. That's like almost end game AP damage, right? 301, 305. All the classes can, if they get you in a CC and do a combo on you, you're probably dead, right? If you have the same gear as them, and whoever catches the first guy in a CC and knows how to do the combo, that's important, because if someone gets you in a CC and they don't know what the fuck they're doing, you'll survive. But if they know the quote-unquote perfect combo on his class and he does it perfectly, you'll die. That's what happens. If you get in PvP, if you fuck up and you get CC'd, you die, because you can like play in a certain way so that you don't get CC'd, right? Minimize the chances. So in order for maybe people who don't know about the game to understand better, you see this thing, the yellow thing that appears on my screen when I jump or use certain skills, that's called super armor, and this one is called forward guard. So super armor, actually, if someone hits you with a crowd control while you're in super armor, you don't get CC'd. And if someone hits you with skills from the front while you have forward guard, your guard meter will go down, but you're not gonna get CC'd and you're not gonna get damage, right? And your guard meter can break, obviously, if they have enough damage, but you can recover the guard meter pretty fast. Like, you can just run away a bit, 5, 6, 7, see? You can see it. 6, 7 seconds will be back up, right? Obviously he's gonna run after you, but some classes have more mobility than others, yada yada. You can slow him and run away, get your guard back up if you're playing that defensively, stuff like that. Although when it comes to like 305 AP, your guard will probably just break in 2 or 3 hits, 2 or 3 heavy hits. But you gotta trade blows, If he hits you with a super armor skill, hit him back with a super armor skill, and see whose HP goes down faster. It depends. It's hard to explain that right now, because I'm just trying to give a general overview of the game and not just go into detail. I'm not really paying attention to what this guy is doing to me. So I'm playing a Berserker class. It's called Berserker, or some people call it Giant. I think it's one of the few classes that I have 3 healing skills on this class. But it's like healing skills for myself. You don't really have a trinity in this game, which that's something that I like. You don't have healers or supports. I mean, there's actually one. They did made a quote-unquote support class for PvP and PvE, which is the Shy. This one, the little player here with that weapons, the boomerang. They have a lot of buffs that can give to the party and debuffs on the mobs or for people in PvP. So that's actually specifically a support class. That doesn't mean that it doesn't do damage, but it just excels at giving buffs to people. So what people usually do in PvP with Shy, especially in guild versus guild, right, is you make a defensive build on the Shy, so you don't necessarily, you get DP accessories to increase your DP, so you just don't die that fast, and you just buff people, debuff the enemy, and it really helps. That's kind of your role in a PvP siege scenario if you're playing Shy. And not a lot of people play Shy, honestly, probably because of that reason. Like, a lot of people just want to go and kill and do kills or feel good. But Shy is not it doesn't mean that you won't be able to grind in PvE with a Shy. It actually is a very decent PvE grind class. And a lot of people use Shy in PvE, especially because you can buff your allies with like buffs that no other class has and debuff the mobs. and it really speeds up the kill time for it. But it's only good in group areas, right? Otherwise you'll just have to grind solo, even with the shy. And it does fine. Like, it's fine. The grind on shy, it's okay. It's not like oh, you're a support class and you can't PvE grind. You can. Every class can. But some classes, obviously, there's always gonna be top tier classes in MMOs, so it's also in this game when it comes to PvE grind. I'm gonna tell you what those are, just, you know, for people who wanna min-max. I honestly play whatever I feel like I have fun on. It may not be like the best PvE class, but if I'm having fun on it, I like. The thing is with this tier list that I'm gonna tell you, it's not like if you don't play those classes you're not doing progression. You do progression. It's just that those classes are gonna do, like, maybe. So we were talking about trash loot earlier, right? Mobs give you trash loot. Certain classes can pull more trash loot than others, but there's not a lot of them that can do that, right? There's only like top 5 or top 4 classes that can do a bit more trash than other classes. But the difference is not, the thing is, the difference is not, from my point of view, that big. Like, they're not doing double the trash loot that you do, right? So let me give you an example. Let's say you're grinding at, I don't know, I'm gonna give you like a 250 AP zone, which is Akman, for example, right? Let's say you pull 8k trash loot per hour with blue loot scroll, which is a scroll that gives you 50% more drop rate, which is gonna increase your no, this one, 100% drop rate and drop amount 50%, right? That's gonna increase your trash loot per hour when you use it. The scroll lasts for one hour. So you do 8k with the scroll, so you do 4k without, whatever. People usually put in the blue loot scroll when they calculate that. Everybody usually grinds with that. You do 8k on your class. Let's say one of the top 4 classes comes there with your gear, right? Same gear. They can pull 10k trash loot, or maybe 11. Only one class can pull 11, but that's only for like low AP zones, which is Guardian. They can pull the most trash, but when you're reaching towards higher AP zones, it loses its performance. Like, other classes get equal with it or slightly better. So the difference between 8k trash loot and 10k trash loot is not that huge for you to be like, oh my god, I have to play this, or otherwise I won't feel like I'm progressing. No, it's not like that. Just play the class you like, because that's the most important, because you're gonna play a shit ton, you're gonna grind a lot, you're gonna play this game a lot if you're gonna go the grind route. And it's you have to have fun while playing. I cannot play a class that I don't feel good playing it. Like, I tried, because I switched from warrior. I wanted to switch the class. I played warrior until now, so I was thinking between, oh, this is a warrior, oh, the guy with the shield, this is a warrior. Nice colors, by the way. You gave me inspiration, thank you. Because I have the same costume. So you are gonna have let's talk about top 4 classes, right? Striker, Succession Striker for PvE. What else? Sage Succession. Awakening is fine too, but Succession does a bit more. I mean, I'm telling you the min-maxing ones, right? You can play whatever. Sage is actually one of the newer classes in the game, which means that right now not only is it good in PvE, but it's at the top in PvP. Like, it's overpowered compared to other classes. Like, nothing compares to a Sage in the sense that it has a lot of bonuses that helps it do more damage than other classes. So let's say if you combo someone and it takes you on other classes 6 skills to combo to kill him, on Sage it takes you 4 skills to combo him. That's what I mean. And most classes usually kind of take the same amount of combo to kill. Most. But not all, right? Like, some classes, like Sage, are gonna kill you easier, gonna kill you faster, gonna do more damage, a bit more damage. It's not like double the damage, right? So one of the top 4 classes, right? Let's finish that. Striker, Sage. I think Nova Awakening is there because it has that like super fast movement between packs. What else was there? I don't know how well Guardian does in endgame, close to endgame zones. Some people say it's fine, others say that it doesn't pull the same trash as the other classes, so I don't know. I guess I just know the top 3. You can find it on Discords, on class Discords, the top 4 classes. I just know these ones because these ones are the ones I really looked at. So when I wanted to switch from warrior to another class, I actually went. You can go on a trial character, which is like a level 60, and they give you some gear there. You can try out the class, but you can only sit there in that battle arena. So you can like test the damage in PvP of that class, test the combo, see if you like the game style, the gameplay, right? Before you actually commit to it. And I tried Striker. I did. And I just wasn't feeling it, you know? I just wasn't feeling the class. I was like, I don't know if I should play Berserker or Striker. I know Striker is very, 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 very good. But I'm just not having fun playing it. And if I'm not feeling well while playing it, I just can't do it. I can't force myself to play it, you know? So now I'm on Berserker, and I'm happy with my choice. So let's continue talking about bad things, quote unquote bad things in the game. It has a where did we left off? Oh yeah, the solo grind. You kind of have to solo grind, right? Not a lot of party content. RNG. You might get lucky to get an accessory in a spot, you might not. That's why some people prefer to grind in other spots that maybe they don't give you accessories that are so expensive, but they do give you trash loot that is valued more than in other places, right? So let's take Star's End for example. In Star's End, the trash loot has a certain value, and if you go to see Krya, for example, underwater ruins, the trash loot there has a bit more value than in Star's End, but you don't get the drop there is not as expensive as in Star's End, right? So you can either try your luck in Star's End and maybe get distortion earrings for a lot of money and sell them for profit, or enhance them if you have the balls, right? Or you can go to Sikrai and you can grind there, and you know you have actually a very good accessory there as well. It's like the Tungrad ring. But let me show you the difference, right? Like you saw that distortion was like 320 mil or something, right? Tungrad rings are 89 million, right? So there's a big difference in the money. But if let's take, for example, let's take a guy who doesn't let's take two people. One grinds a Star's End for 5 hours, the other rests Crya for 5 hours. Let's take an example where none of them get an accessory drop, so they just have to base their loot on the trash. The guy at Sikraya did more money per hour than the guy at Star's End, because the trash loot in Sikraya is a bit more expensive. So that's like a safe way of doing money by farming in Sikraya or in places that have a higher silver trash loot, versus grinding in places where maybe the trash loot is a little bit less, but you get expensive accessories. I mean, to be honest, distortions are the most expensive accessories in the game, so that's probably the only one of the few unique examples that you'll get with this, and it's more like the extreme ones, because the other zones are very similar, you know. And the more you progress in your gear, the more you'll be able to go grind in areas that give you more money. So that's it's important. So that's kind of like the example that I can give you. What else? RNG carried people versus people who are super unlucky. So for example, when you fail an enchantment in this game, you get something called fail stack. The higher the fail stack you have, the higher your chance to enchant goes, right? But when we talk about highest level, which is pen, right? Let's say this one. I mean, this is special gear, but let's take this for example. Pen to Vala, right? I show you how it looks like. Pen, that's like the highest one. Let's take some boss gear, right? Let's take Dim Tree. If we talk about Dim Tree pen, you need a certain amount of fail stacks to tap it, right? So from Tet to pen, usually people start tapping it at 130 fail stack, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Some people can fail 4 or 5 times and get it, so that means they got it from 140 fail stack, they got it with like 150 fail stack because the fail stack rises, so they didn't have to like fail a lot to get it. And then other people, there are people who failed 40 times on enchanting something, not necessarily that, but like any gear you want to enchant, like boss gear, maybe some of it goes through, but other gear slots don't, like let's say a main weapon, right? I heard someone failed 40 times their main weapon, and then they just went and bought it, or they one tapped a different type of main weapon, you know, and they used that one. So imagine failing 40 times versus failing 5. That's RNG carried. Now this game is based on RNG, and they will never apply this idea, and they probably shouldn't apply this idea of if you fail 50 times from Tet to pen, maybe you get a guaranteed pen after. They'll never add that. Like, that's just, you know, kind of stupid, you know, because the game is based on RNG. But if you don't want to go the RNG route, every piece of gear in the game that you can get, you can sell, which means you can buy any piece you want if you have enough money. So you're not gated necessarily by the RNG, because you can just buy the gear at max at pen, right? You can buy the best gear in the game from the marketplace. You just need to farm the money. So when it comes, so when you enchant the main gear, weapons and armor, if you fail, it fails in level, but it doesn't get destroyed. But when it comes to accessories, if you fail the accessory, the accessory gets destroyed. That's where people probably prefer to buy their accessories rather than try to enchant it, right? Because if you fail too much, you might even spend more money trying to enchant than just straight out buying it from the marketplace, right? So let me give you an example. let's go, I don't know, let's go rings. Okay, let's take Tungrad. Okay, this is one of the best rings, let's say. Pen costs 68 billion, 70, right? 70 billion. Tet is 8 billion. That means that if you fail Tet to pen 9 times, you're basically wasted the same amount of silver that you could have just bought pen, right? Something around there, maybe 10 times, right? So if you fail 10 times, you might as well have just sold the tets that you made or whatever directly to the marketplace, 10 tets, and just buy the pen. But if you're lucky and you tap it from tet to pen in like less than 7 tries, you save up a lot of money, right? So that's kind of something to think about. It's really poorly explained. It's hard to explain it right now because this is something that I have to go in depth with, but that's kind of my idea on it. Man, this is gonna be a very long video. I will make it in parts because people won't fucking watch a 1 hour video of me just ranting about games. So that's the idea you want to keep in mind. How much you want to risk versus just outbuying the gear on the marketplace that you want to the level that you want. I gave a very extreme example. I gave pen, but most people have TED accessories, right? So the same thing applies to TED. I'll show you after I kill this guy because he deals a shit ton of damage to me if he catches me. Come on, die, dude. Yeah, okay. So, let's take Tungrad Ring, for example, again. From try to tet, right? Try is like 2 billion 100. Tet, 8 billion. That means that if I fail 4 try to tets, I basically wasted the same amount of money I could have just bought it at tet, right? Or very similar. I'm saying very similar because when you sell something on the marketplace, there's a 15% tax. So that means you're not really selling it for 2 billion. You're gonna sell it for maybe 1 billion 600. Oh, that means it's a rough estimate. I don't know exactly how much the tax will be, but it's kind of around there. So that means if it's like 1 billion 600, you'd have to pay. It's like around 3, 2, 3, 6, 4, 9. I guess 6, 7 fails. Kind of there, I think. So if you sell 6 tries, if you sell 6, it's 12 billion. So kind of there. 5, yeah, 5. I think 5 is 5. So if you sell 5 of these on the market, you make around 10 bill. Minus the tax, it's probably around the same amount as the cost of a tet. So you make 8 bill by selling the tries. Or you can try and enchant it, right? But if you're gonna fail 5 times, you basically lost that money. But if you tap it from the second time, you basically won a lot of money, right? But when it comes to accessories, I really think I would probably buy it, maybe. Depends on how I feel. It also depends on the difference in price, because the prices fluctuate depending on also the accessories. Like Tongrad seem to be really close right now in prices, but sometimes if the difference from Tri to Tet is like way too big, then you might try the enchant route, right? Let's take Distortion for example. Tri is 6 billion, but Tet is 22,300. So this means that I think you kind of have to sell four of these. 4 of these plus something more silver to be able to do this amount of silver and basically be on the plus side with your money. So I think 20 billion minus the tax on the market, which is 15% with a value pack, I think it nets you around 18 bill or even less. So that means you're gonna be needing 1 or 2 bill more, but you know, if you can grind that out, it doesn't take that much, especially if you're higher AP. So like when you reach like maybe 279 to 281 Kurum AP, you can grind good money. There's not a problem. You can grind around 300, maybe like between 2 and 300 million per hour, right? So if you grind 4 hours, that means you grinded between 800 and 1 billion 200 in 4 hours in 1 day, right? And that's only if you play 4 hours. But people play, come on, like people who really play this game, people who like video games, they can grind for I would say, let's take 7 hours, right? So 7 hours, that's like between 1.4 bill and, well, 2.1 billion. So it kind of depends. I would say, let's say 7 hours be like 1.8 billion. I would say that's fair. 7 hours, 1.8 billion. That means that in 10 days you grinded 18 billion. So just a little bit more and you'll be able to get that TED distortion for 22 bill, right? In 10. And accessories are the most expensive thing in the game, right? I don't know if you noticed, but the armor. So if you look at, let's say Zarka, a pen Zarka maximum is around 4 billion, 14 billion 600, right? But that's the maximum level on it. Accessories are way more expensive, right? So getting good pieces in like 2 weeks of playtime of really good grind, like 7 hours per day playtime, 2 weeks, getting that much money at that level, you know, you do need to reach that level, so you'll do less money until you get there. But once you get there, you have a decent way of progressing, right? If you really grind. Because, and people, even if you don't grind that much, like people who play 4 hours, you're just gonna play the game at your own pace, man, and you'll get there. So I was talking about, I kind of want to wrap this up a bit faster. It's like almost 1 hour of talking. But in this game, so we were talking about the negative stuff, right? Solo, RNG, What else? If you like PvP, small problem in the game, there's desync. It's not like it doesn't happen like that much, but it happens. What does desync mean? It means that if, for example, I go and grab this guy and I'm fighting him, right? I might grab him, and on my screen he appears like he's near me, so I can grab him. But in reality, he wasn't that close to me, so I missed the grab, and then I find myself being CC'd by him, even though I saw myself grabbing him for a second. But after that second, usually he kind of like either doesn't get the grab off, and he just CCs me and kills me, or you just see him teleporting from where you thought he was to like maybe half a meter on the left, right? So that's desync. That can happen. Or maybe you combo someone with you do like a CC combo and it desyncs and it doesn't get all your CCs in him. Then he gets up and he sees you and he kills you, right? So that can happen. That's kind of it, you know. But even if that happens once, like it can happen once, you can fall back and try and CC him again, right? So if I go grab someone, because I have grab on Zerker, maybe I see him desyncing, so you can react to it. You see that he didn't get the CC and he still moves, you run. I can be like, you know, I'm just gonna run away, wait 5 seconds, and then go in again and do my combo again. The second time, I'm pretty sure you're not gonna get desynced again. Desync doesn't happen like, you know, 3 times consecutively. Maybe if you're like super lucky, but it doesn't really happen. It happens once and it ruins what you're doing, but you can kind of, you know, just go past it. Like, okay, I failed it. I failed the CC. I'm gonna go fall back 5 seconds. I'm saying 5 seconds because you need to reset the CC counter, so which means that, and you have to wait 5 seconds for it, so you'll be able to do your CC again, right? My mom just sent me a picture. With them at the beach. Okay, so you wait 5 seconds, CC timer resets, you go in, you grab them again, and then this time it will work, right? But there's also a chance that your CC can fail. So CC is not 100% in the game. I think this is one of the other things that it's kind of bad in the game, because people can just RNG resist your CC, and it changes your chances of winning, right? Because at high level, when you're like similar in skill with the other person and you both have the same gear, obviously the first guy who's gonna get his CC off is gonna win. But if you fail, he gets back up and he then manages to CC you, and maybe he doesn't fail all his CCs and he kills you. That's not exactly fair, right? Because it's, you lost because the CC was RNG'd. Yeah, you played a bit better, but then you got RNG'd and your CC went off, right? Your CC fucked up, you know? So they really need, a good idea would be to make CC 100%, right? So if I CC someone with a skill, he doesn't randomly resist it, right? So this will help people who are very way more skilled in PvP than others, it will show. And you don't necessarily need, like on certain classes, you can kill people who are higher gear than you with less gear. Can you do that on all classes? I don't think so. But let me give you an example, right? Is something wrong with my mic? Because so let me give you an example. Let's say striker. If you have 275 AP on a striker, you can kill someone that has way more gear than you if you perfectly combo him. Awakening striker. I know that, I've seen it, people complain about it. So if you're skilled enough, maybe he has 300 AP, but it doesn't matter because you are still able to kill him. And if you're better than him at the game, you'll just you will CC him first, and even if he tries to CC you, you can rotate your super armors, you can dodge, dodge his kill, go behind him, CC him. That's where the skill comes in, right? Does gear help? Yes, because he can kill you faster. But if the gap between your skill sets are so big, then you'll kill him every time almost. If he doesn't know how to play and he just mashes the buttons and you know what you're doing, you'll kill him. Now obviously if it's really like a busted class like Sage, who has a lot of AoE and he has like shit ton of AP, and if you don't have DP enough to resist him, like if you have 320 DP and he has 300 AP, he will probably kill you in 2 skills. I'm pretty sure 2 skills he can kill you. I mean 2 skills he can kill you if you're not using forward guard, right? If you're in forward guard, probably 1 skill will break the guard, maximum 2, and then the other 2 will kill you, right? Because if your forward guard depletes, you won't be able to, the damage you take will be directly in you, and so will be the CC, right? So you can do something like, if he really outgears you and you're better than him, make him use his skills in your forward guard. It breaks, you run away, you wait for your guard to be back up, you go in, he uses 2 other skills on your forward guard, you block it, and then you go in, you grab him, you do your combo perfectly, and he dies, right? But that's like really hard to do, right? Because you need to use more skills to beat him because he outgears you. But it's not impossible. Is it possible for every class? No. Some classes will do more damage with less gear than other classes, and other classes will really need a bit more higher gear to be able to do the same damage, right? So let's take warrior for example. I don't think warrior at 275 AP will be able to kill someone who outgears him that much. Like if someone has, let's say he has 360 DP, you're probably not gonna kill him in 1 combo. Or if you do kill him in 1 combo, it's gonna take a lot of skills for you to press, and it's like very hard on warrior to do that. Warrior is one of the hardest classes to play, a high skill ceiling. It is possible, but if you fuck up even once, he's not dead. And let's take Sage for example. Sage with 275 AP or 277 can easily 4 combo skill a target that has 352 DP. I tested that. Someone was telling me in the guild, hey, I can on a trial character I can 4 combo people or 3 combo people, and I'm like, no way you can do that. And he's like, I can show you. I went in the arena with him. We both had trial characters. I can show you what a trial character is. Well, I'm in season, so he was saying he can free shot me. I said, no way, you need only 3 skills. He was like, I'll show you. And I mean, he did required 4 skills to kill me, but on warrior, on a trial, you need to use way more skills to kill someone. Like, no way you kill someone in only 4 skills with that AP, right? So when it comes to that AP, you're not gonna be able to do it. But if you get, all classes can do damage with high AP, right? So when you reach 301 AP, I'm saying 301 because it's a special AP bracket, all of the classes will do shit ton of damage, right? There's no class that is gonna be like, oh, I'm 301 AP and I do my combo on you and I only take half of your HP. That doesn't happen. The only time it happens is if your target has like a more of a super high-end gear with like 400 DP and full evasion, like Striker. Like, I think Striker and Mystic are the only classes right now that are a bit busted when it comes to defensive stats. But other than that, like, except for those 2 classes, all other classes will die. So this is my trial character, right? You have some special gear. You can't exit this arena with trial characters. So the guy came with the Sage. I have 352 DP. He had like, well, you know, he had 275 AP because he has some things that I can do as well to increase my AP, but I haven't done yet. And he 4-shot me. What you do is like, you can also debuff your target with minus DP. Then you do your combo and you'll do more damage, right? Obviously. And accuracy helps and all that. So I kind of talked about the bad stuff. I think that's kind of it. I don't think there's something else that's like major for people coming into the game. Let's talk about the good things about the game. One of the few games out there that actually has 3 action combat. So for example, if there's like a wizard here and he fireballs me, I can go on the right side and the fireball misses, right? He misses the scale if I move. So 3 action combat, right? Very good graphics. I'm actually on medium settings probably. Oh shit, what I do? No. Okay. Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah, I think I... Okay. So... I went alt tab. So... What was I doing? You dodge and you go behind him, CC him, kill him. So there's no lock on. Skills don't lock on, not even auto attacks. So that's one thing, right? Oh yeah, I wanted to show the graphics. So right now I'm actually on medium texture with high graphic. So the game looks pretty good, you know. Costumes are better looking, so it's the game looks awesome. That's one of the reasons why people play it. Right. Awesome graphics, awesome combat. It's a sandbox game, which means that, well, this is something that I don't like, but you can get through it with certain things. It's a sandbox game, which means that if I'm here in Velia and I want to go to a grind spot with my main, I have to get on my horse and run with my horse to the grind spot that I want. So that's gonna take time. Usually people park their main character grinder in the grind spot, and then you use your other slots with other characters to like access the marketplace in a main town, to sell stuff, the storage, yada yada, you know. You don't necessarily need to go with the character you're farming, right? So that's one thing. There's little tricks you can do, like you have inventory and weight, right? The trash loot is gonna take weight. If you have maids, you can just open the storage where near you're at and move the trash loot to your storage with the maids. If you're a new player, you're probably not gonna have a lot of maids. Like, the game just throws maids and stuff at you and pets. I hardly bought any maids. I think I bought only 5 or 6 maids in total, and that's only because I got those packs that were on sale. But the other 12 maids, the game gave it to me over time in the reward tabs, right? So you have this reward tab. See, maid, transaction made. You have a shit ton of stuff like that. So you can use your maids. If you don't have maids, you can use the horse. You put the trash loot on your horse, and when you're done grinding, you just go on the horse and sell it near a town from the zone you're grinding at. There's little things you can do like that, so you don't really need to like buy weight or inventory slots. Usually the game gives you some free inventory slots when you do the main quests, and there's like a bunch of them. There's like maybe 20 slots or more actually if you do all the main quests. Also, the game rewards you with free inventory from the dailies, or if you buy a package like the most expensive package which was on sale, it's gonna give you 14 inventory slots and all that, you know. So yeah, you know, it's not, you don't really need to buy weight or inventory slots. There's ways to go around it. The main thing I think would be repairing your gear when in your grind zone. So if you're grinding somewhere that has a repair blacksmith nearby, that's good. But if that's not the case, it's kind of, you're gonna waste a bit of time to just go near a town and repair and go back. It doesn't take long. It probably takes like 5 minutes to do that. But there's also something in the shop which is a campsite, and you install the campsite where you grind and you can repair on the spot, right? So that's kind of I can't call it pay to win. It's like semi pay to win stuff. It helps with your time, but time in this game is money, so you have to use your time efficiently. So the good things, yeah, great combat, great graphics, satisfaction when PvPing because you outskill your opponent and it shows. Like, he knows he has more gear than you, but he loses to you. He's gonna, like, it's obviously a skill gap, so you can like flex. To be honest, I like the game, but they said they're gonna add arenas in the game soon. So right now there's no 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2 arenas, but they said they're gonna add it soon. So the only rankings that we have is from Red Battlefield, which is like battleground where people just go and kill each other and they make points. And you have ranks here. And depending on the server you're on, you have ranks for everything, right? For gathering, fishing, a lot of activities in the game, and Red Battlefield. So this guy from Sovereign Guild, he has the most points on this server, right? When I say server, I mean this is a server. It's not like on entire Europe server. It depends on the server you're on. So this guy has a lot of points in the Red Battlefield. These things, from what I know, they don't reset, but you can only see someone in the ranking when he's online. So if he's offline, then this guy who's online might go up, right? Depending on who's on that server. So the only rankings you have right now is Red Battlefield, but they're gonna add Arena soon, which is gonna be super cool. A lot of people are excited for that. I think those are the good things about the game, you know. super nice combat, super nice graphics. Some people actually play the game for the PvE side. They don't even PvP that much, which for me is astounding, because this is from my point of view, this is a PvP oriented game. But then I hear people go and say, oh no, it's not, it's like a PvE game too. Like, how is it a PvE? Like, do you get satisfaction from farming those mobs over and over again? Because the thing is, there's no ranking for grinding the mobs faster. So there's no ranking in grinding for that. There's ranking in life skilling and other stuff. But for grinding mobs purely, like, you get satisfaction from that, okay, that's fine. It's fine with me, but it just seems silly. That's kind of the main overview of the game, me rambling randomly while I do my rifts. Hope you guys had some fun, and if you have any questions or ideas that come to your mind, leave it in the comments and I will answer it in the best way I can. Okay? Alright, thanks for listening. See you.